KSAT 12. Good Morning San Antonio starts right now.
Flash flood warnings for parts of the hill country. We've got a radar update for you coming up.
Plus, why the UN Secretary General says he is gravely concerned about circumstances happening at a Ukrainian nuclear plant.
Outside right now, hovering right around 80 degrees here in San Antonio, where it is still dry. Justin has more on your forecast for the weekend coming up as we hope for some more rain, just not all in one spot like it's been happening pretty much all night. Good morning, everybody. It's Friday. It's August 19th.
Happy Friday. Thanks for joining us. Yeah, let's get over to Justin and check on that rain.
Yeah, and we didn't get the rain we'd hoped for here in San Antonio yesterday, but there were spots that saw some pretty heavy rain overnight, and we're watching in particular the hill country this morning. We've got flash flood warnings in effect until 6:30 for parts of Real and northern Uvalde County. This is where we've estimated about 4 inches of rain that has fallen over the Frio and Dry Frio basins, and that's where we could see some flash flooding. So we'll be watching spots like Lakey and Garner State Park for some of that flooding this morning. So far, no reports yet, but the rain is still falling. There could be more there. Nothing here around San Antonio. We expect a pretty quiet start before we could see a few more showers and storms a little bit later this afternoon. There still is another opportunity, by the way, if you missed out yesterday, and many of us did. Weather headlines. Yeah, it was all around us yesterday. We're going to look at the rainfall totals, though, coming up. Some places did get some good rain. And as I said, there's another chance for some isolated showers and storms today. Plus, as we head into next week, a wet pattern is setting up. We could see some pretty heavy rain in spots, I think, by the middle part of next week. Right now, 79 degrees. Dew point is at 70. Feels like 82 out there. It is a warm, muggy morning. Your forecast for today, 76 by 7 a.m. Just a small chance of rain through the morning time, 88 noontime. And then by the afternoon, we put in a 30% chance of rain. Temperatures make it up to about 95 or so. Much more on this forecast. It's an active pattern. That's coming up here in just a few minutes, guys.
Thank you, Justin. A draft plan of the Bandera Road corridor is stressing out homeowners in that area who worry it could change their neighborhood's dynamic. Now, part of the plan might include changes to streets that feed into Bandera Road. Homeowners worry it could mean the demolition of homes, or it could do away with park greenways. The city of San Antonio is hosting a public hearing and input meeting on the Bandera corridor next Wednesday on the 24th. Last night, though, homeowners held their own meeting to try to rally against part of that project.
People are going to be affected by this. Lives are going to be impacted. And yes, it may help some with the congestion on the Bandera Road, but people will be hurt. And some people who live in this area who lose their home will not be able to buy another home.
Details about concepts that are in the plan will ultimately be removed, because if there isn't support within the community for a particular element of a plan, then we don't want to move forward with that.
And the city of San Antonio says the public input meetings are created to draw in this type of input on whether or not the community would approve this type of plan. The city meeting is next Wednesday from 5 to 8 p.m. That's happening at City Church on Bandera Road.
Biden administration has announced a change to give millions of children access to mental and physical health services at school. The guidance makes it clear schools can use Medicaid dollars to hire more counselors, nurses, and social workers who could treat students. The new change would be for all students, not just those with their health care through Medicaid and the Children's Health Insurance Program.
A federal judge in Florida says he is leaning toward releasing some of the evidence presented by the Justice Department to justify its search of Donald Trump's Florida home last week. That's despite objections by the Justice Department. The department argued that if it were to be made public, it could cause significant and irreparable damage to an ongoing criminal investigation related to national security. Now, Trump has made several public calls for the affidavit to be released, but in court, his legal team has not filed any brief or position on the matter.
A federal judge has ruled parts of a law in Florida that restricts conversations about race in schools and the workplace is unconstitutional. Republican Governor Ron DeSantis pushed the law as part of his war on woke ideology. The so-called Stop Woke Act went into effect July 1st. It intended to prevent teachings or mandatory workplace activities that suggest a person is privileged or oppressed based on their race, sex, or national origin. 2 Florida-based employers and a consultant requested the injunction. A federal judge ruled parts of the law violated the First and 14th Amendments. The court also said it would refuse a stay of the injunction while a potential appeal is pending. Now to Ukraine, where new shelling is reported dangerously close to a Russian-held nuclear power plant.
That comes after an ominous warning from Ukraine's military intelligence saying plant workers were told to stay home today because that facility could be the target of an impending attack. ABC's Mona Abdi has the details.
This morning, concerns are growing over a potential nuclear disaster in Ukraine. New artillery strikes were reported overnight near the Zaporizhzhia nuclear power plant, the largest in Europe. Russia has controlled the power plant for months. Now Ukraine and Russia accuse each other of plotting to attack the facility. And Russia reportedly told workers to stay home today.
I'm not in the position to speak to what Russia may or may not be planning, but these types of statements, including some of what we've heard from Russian officials, are cause for concern.
Ukrainian President Zelensky writing on Twitter, quote, "The world is on the verge of a nuclear disaster. How long will it take the global community to respond to Russia's irresponsible actions and nuclear blackmailing?" Local volunteers tell ABC News they're secretly providing vital medicine to plant workers, including anti-radiation medicine.
This is iodine, and these guys gather it up. They send it across the border to Enerhada in case there is a radioactive leak.
During a meeting with the UN Secretary General in Ukraine, Zelensky called on the UN to ensure the demilitarization of the power plant. A move Russia claims will make the plant more vulnerable.
Common sense must prevail to avoid any actions that might endanger the physical integrity, safety, or security of the nuclear plant.
Mona Abdi, ABC News, New York.
Time right now, 4:36, 79 degrees.
And still ahead, we're going to take a look at the pros and cons if you're thinking about buying an all-electric vehicle.
Next, Spurs Sports and Entertainment and San Antonio FC host a free clinic for the Uvalde Youth Soccer League. We have reaction from parents and player volunteers.
And a quick look at the roads with TransGuide looking over at Loop 410 at Cherry Ridge. I always find there are more vehicles on the roadways on Friday mornings, but things look okay as of right now.
Outside with live cam, waiting on the rain here in San Antonio. It's been a very dry year overall, but it looks like we're about to get a bunch of rain in spots around parts of South Texas. And it's happening right now in some parts. Justin will talk more about that coming up.
Camping with KSAT, powered by Davis Law Firm.
Welcome back. Cowboys have wrapped up their workouts in California with their final dual practice with the LA Chargers before they face them tomorrow night at SoFi Stadium. And they end on a high note. First, Dak Prescott was able to find Dalton Schultz for a touchdown. And how about a Hail Mary from Prescott to former Warren Warrior Dennis Houston, who somehow was able to come down with that ball.
Better than yesterday. I think obviously it helps just being on the main field, getting the fans, getting a little bit of that energy. Knowing this was our last day against them, we could be a little bit more chippy, I guess you can say. But it was great. It was great work. Both teams came out, decided to, we came to work, we came about business. Let's make sure we do that, no fighting. And I felt like it went well over the last 2 days.
Did get a little chippy a little bit later on. Okay, we are going to move on. As part of helping the city of Uvalde in their healing process, Spurs Sports and Entertainment, San Antonio FC held a free clinic last night for the Uvalde Youth Soccer League. San Antonio FC players and staff made the trek to Uvalde to conduct the clinic for 250 young athletes ages 14-15 for Tree City Soccer. This all took place at Honey Bowl Stadium over in Uvalde.
It was good to get them out here and kind of get back in the zone and back to normal, something a little normal, and getting that support from everybody outside of Uvalde is really good.
For us, it's all about just letting them be who they are, letting them feel free, letting them feel secure. And so for us, it's an absolute honor to even be out here with them. So yeah, it's awesome.
Our big game coverage previews take us to Breckenridge High School, where the Eagles are getting ready to kick off the new season in District 14 5A Division II. This year, that division contains Alamo Heights, Harlandale, and McCollum for the first time in a UIL realignment. Head coach Larry Norman will have 17 players back from a team that went 5-3 in district, 6-5 overall as by-district finalists.
Those three teams are definitely tough, but again, we'll work harder than them.
SCISD teams are always scrappy, always tough and competitive, and then adding Alamo Heights, McCollum, and Harlandale just makes it a more competitive district, and I'd say we're probably one of the most competitive districts in the city this year.
Eagles will kick off their 2022 season next Thursday, when they host the J Mustangs at Alamo Stadium at 7 o'clock.
It's about to get really busy for the kiddos.
We're that much closer to those Friday night lights and Thursday. Some Thursday ones
Thursday too. Time now 4:42 and 78 degrees for now. Now, if you're thinking about getting an electric vehicle, we have some important things to consider first.
And next, first look at the case of a woman charged with killing a top cyclist in a love triangle who's now accusing the police of a crime.
And welcome back. It is 4:45. Caitlin Armstrong, the woman charged with killing a top cyclist in a love triangle, has accused the police of illegal interrogation. ABC's Matt Gutman has the details in today's GMA First Look.
In this morning's GMA First Look, attorneys for Caitlin Armstrong, the yoga teacher accused of killing pro cyclist Mariah Wilson, say these newly released images from her interrogation were part of an illegal arrest.
Caitlin Armstrong's lawyers are essentially saying that everything generated from this in-cell interview, including video of her being handcuffed, should be thrown out of court, and are essentially arguing that she was set up for this interview to look bad, to look like somebody who might have been a killer. If that gets in front of a jury, it will potentially contaminate the jury.
Armstrong now charged with the first-degree murder of Wilson, who police believe Armstrong considered a love rival and thought was involved with her boyfriend. And we'll have much more on what this could mean for the case coming up at 7 a.m. with your GMA First Look. I'm Matt Gutman, ABC News, Los Angeles.
Well, electric vehicles are looking more and more attractive, especially considering the recent price of gasoline.
And 12 on your side's Marilyn Moritz has some information to help you decide if that's right for you.
Now that it's costing $50 to gas up the average tank, could a plug-in be your next car?
Yes, because gas is way too expensive now.
In a recent Consumer Report survey, more than 1/3 of people said they would strongly consider buying an electric car. Many of the barriers of going electric are beginning to come down. Battery range is increasing, and there are more models now. But some people have reservations.
With traveling, it's just getting to where I got to go and back without having to charge up my car. I just don't think I'm ready for it yet.
Where and when to charge is a concern. This one is located right outside a department store. Right now in Texas, there are more than 2,000 public charging stations. Money is another barrier. People point to purchase price and the cost of repairs. But compared to the typical lifespan of a gas car, Consumer Reports found EVs usually cost less to operate.
EVs have fewer moving parts and fluids that need to be changed. Even the brakes tend to last longer. Plus, the cost of powering the car is less, especially with elevated gas prices.
And now mainstream automakers are creating lower-priced models like the Hyundai Kona, Nissan Leaf, and the Chevy Bolt. It starts at less than $27,000. And some electric vehicles are eligible for a $7,500 federal tax credit and a $2,500 state rebate. But not all EVs qualify, so check before you buy. Marilyn Moritz, KSAT 12 News.
Another quick look at the roads with TransGuide looking over there at Loop 410 at Cherry Ridge. Things have been moving there all morning and pretty much on all the cameras this early. Let's go ahead and check in with Justin.
Thank you. We've been watching some pretty heavy rain across the hill country this morning. It's been problematic in the sense that we have some flash flood warnings now for parts of Real and northern Uvalde County. This is the area of rain that is causing the issues, and it's just been sitting here. This thing has not moved at all. And the rainfall totals are really starting to add up. So let's zoom in a little bit closer here around the city of Leakey and northern Uvalde County around Concan, and that's where the heavy rain continues to fall. It's also in the Frio Basin. Now, the Frio River, as you know, has been very dry. The flow has been very low. It's going to pick up rapidly now with this rain falling the way it is. And first, we'll take a look at the warning here. This is going to go until 6:30 this morning, so for another couple of hours here, and we'll pause it and take a look at some of these potential rainfall totals. So over the last 12 hours or so, we've picked up some estimates of close to 3 to 4 inches. And that is probably going to even go up higher here over the next couple of hours with the potential for more rain. As you saw, it's just kind of sitting there. But estimates about 2 to 3 inches there around Leakey. And we're seeing estimates up over 3 inches there just to the east of Camp Wood. Along Highway 83 there, of course, that runs right along the Frio River. So beware. I think there's going to be some little water crossings there that may be problematic, especially since it's still dark. And you just don't want to cross any of those roads if there is water on that road. We'll put it back on radar here and clear this off. And we'll talk about what's going on here in San Antonio. There's actually not much. And I know it was a little frustrating yesterday because we had some of those showers and storms get close, but they just it didn't quite make it in here in San Antonio. So things are still dry here this morning, and I don't expect much here over the next couple of hours. But as we get into the afternoon, there will be more potential for some showers and storms to move in. Here's a look at some of the rainfall totals yesterday. Places like Kerrville picked up some rain really overnight, and they're still seeing a little bit there. Lakey, that number is going up, as you just saw. Nothing here in town but Blanco, San Marcos, Gonzales, Cuero, even down to our south. There was rain around, and then there's the big donut there with San Antonio seeing nada. But hopefully, again, with some activity this afternoon, we can pick up some rain. There's the scene outside. 79 degrees at the airport, 79 Stinson, 79 Kelly, 77 at Randolph. And we've got temperatures in the 80s in spots like Hondo, Carrizo Springs, and Cotulla. Mostly upper 70s, though, here in town. And dew points still high. That's not going to change. It's going to be humid for the foreseeable future. Here's the forecast today, and it does show about a 30% chance of rain around 4 o'clock. Probably a little better chance as you go north into the hill country, with some showers and storms perhaps still hanging on going into tonight. And then tomorrow morning we start off with clouds. I don't think Saturday is going to be all that busy. Probably just a 10% chance of rain. So most of the weekend really looks pretty good. That'll be the case on Sunday too, with just a 20% chance of rain as some deeper moisture works in. But things change next week. The pattern does get more active. 76 by 6 a.m. We're going to put about a 10 to 20% chance of rain as we get, say, into 1, 2 o'clock, and then a 30% chance of rain this afternoon. 95 your high temperature. And in the tropics, we've got to mention this. The Hurricane Center now putting this area of disturbed weather at a 40% chance of development. But all indications are this is going to work into Mexico, maybe throw a little bit of tropical moisture in our direction and perhaps help with some rain chances next week. But the 7-day forecast is still active. 10% tomorrow, 20% Sunday. Next week, Tuesday and Wednesday, a couple days I'm keeping my eye on for the potential of heavy rain if everything sets up the way it looks like it will. And we'll have more on that as we get closer, guys.
Watching closely.
From almost nothing to a whole lot of activity and potentially more. Thank you, Justin. 452, about 78 degrees.
And the Dragons are coming. We're going to take a look ahead to HBO's Game of Thrones prequel debut this weekend.
I get it. Versus winter is coming. The Dragons are coming. Pick 3 numbers, 863 Fireball 7. Daily port numbers 4860 Fireball 8.
Catch 5 2 23 30 33 34. Your Texas two-step 12 20 26 35. Bonus ball 27.
5 till 5, the highly anticipated Game of Thrones prequel series debuts this weekend.
Related to what's happening in Hollywood, here's ABC's Jason Nathanson.
The Dragons are coming. HBO's Game of Thrones prequel, House of the Dragon, premieres Sunday night. The highly anticipated spin-off of one of the most successful shows ever on television. Fabian Frankel stars as the knight Sir Criston Cole. He tells me it'll feel familiar to Game of Thrones fans, but
it does feel like its own show, and it's its own story, and it's all new characters, and we have 17 dragons. And they have way less than us. No shade. That is no shade thrown at Game of Thrones, though.
Check out The Dragons Sunday night on HBO. We're learning just how much that Oscar slap hurt Will Smith's image. His latest Q scores, the industry standard for measuring a celebrity's mass appeal, have dropped significantly, according to Variety. His positives went from a 39 to a 24, a serious decline, while his negatives went from a 10 to a 26. That's a huge jump. New music out today, Madonna giving us all of her number ones in one place with Finally Enough Love, 50 number ones, a compilation of all 50 of her Billboard Dance Club songs chart toppers. And Demi Lovato's 8th studio album is out today as well. Lovato celebrating her album release, but also her birthday. She turns 30 on Saturday, while everyone's favorite TV uncle John Stamos turns 59 today. And that's what's happening in Hollywood. I'm Jason Nathanson, ABC News, Los Angeles.
And time now, 4:57 and 78 degrees for now.
Still ahead, why a federal judge is leaning towards releasing some of the evidence presented by the Justice Department regarding the search of President Donald Trump's Florida home last week.
Plus, if you have an iPhone, iPad, or Mac, Apple wants you to update your device as soon as possible. We're going to tell you why coming up in Tech Bites.
The big news is in the weather department, where it is raining buckets way to our west in places like Leakey and Uvalde. Frio River is getting a refresh, that's for sure. Roads right now look really good here in San Antonio. We'll be back.
Live from KSAT 12. Good Morning San Antonio starts right now.
Flash flood warnings for parts of Uvalde and up towards Leakey and Garner State Park. We're checking in with the radar and we'll get you an update coming up.
A magistrate judge considers whether to unseal the affidavit that led to the FBI search at former President Donald Trump's Florida estate. I'm ABC's Faith Abube in Washington. What the judge has ordered the DOJ to do coming up.
And it appears there is no rain in this shot. 78 degrees right now, looking out there with live cam. But Justin says there's a chance again, so we're excited about that.
Good morning, everybody. It's Friday, the 19th of August.
Thanks for joining us. Hope you had a wonderful week. And some areas are getting rain, so let's go right over to Justin.
Hey, good morning to you. Yes, San Antonio by and large missed out on the rain yesterday. We had the outflow boundary come through, just didn't generate any showers or storms. And I know that's frustrating, but we've got some rain on the radar this morning, and some of it has been very heavy. We've got some flash flood warnings in effect for parts of Real and Uvalde counties. This is going to go until 6:30 this morning. And notice this shield of rain is just not moving, and that's part of the problem. It is stuck there, and it is putting down some pretty good rainfall totals. We've estimated with the radar some spots close to 4 inches. That flash flood warning is right there around Leakey and goes south to Concan. It's right along Highway 83 there in the Frio River, where we're concerned about some of that flooding this morning. And again, this flash flood warning goes until 6:30 this morning there for the hill country. It'll take some time for this area of rain to die down and kind of fall apart. And then as we get into the afternoon, there will be potential for more isolated showers and storms, including here in San Antonio. We do have the opportunity for more rain today, and there is more rain down the line. So some good news there for the extended forecast. If you missed the pollen count yesterday, molds were high 2,340. Fall elms showed up yesterday too. It's low at 20. Rain chances over the next several days, 30% today, drops off over the weekend a little bit, but next week looking promising. Perhaps we can get some heavy rain too. We'll have more on that forecast in just a few minutes, and we'll get you set for your day. But we got to check in with Steven now. Good morning to you, sir.
Hey, good morning. Happy Friday. Good news is the roads are dry here in town, so we're not really seeing anything that's slowing anybody down as we're getting ready to drive off into the weekend. I love saying that every Friday. But let's get a quick look around town. US 90 at 36, 281 there at 410. The usual shots that we show you each and every morning this early. It's pretty quiet out there, and if you have to head out, and if you're one of those lucky few, you can enjoy the roads to yourself. We take you right to the map because, again, it's the same situation that we see every morning. Not a lot of activity out there this early, but we are going to watch the roads closely. Several active construction spots, as always, are going to continue to take place throughout the month of August, so we'll bring you some details as the morning does roll on. But for now, if you're going to be heading into San Antonio, let's check out those travel times because I-10 westbound, it's a pretty green trip there from Seguin on 29 minutes at this hour, 33 minutes heading in from 87 northbound and Lavernia, and just a 28-minute drive time if you're driving up from Floresville. So things look great so far, but we're going to continue to watch the roads closely. Again, have updates on those construction spots coming up in the next few minutes. Mark, Steph.
Stephen, thank you. Breaking news over on the west side of town, a shooting that may involve a robbery victim turning the tables on some suspects.
San Antonio police are investigating that case right now at an apartment complex in the 7700 block of Culebra near Ingram Road. Katrina Weber is live at the scene. And Katrina, it sounds like the would-be victim is the one who fired the shots.
That's exactly what police tell us and what they are investigating. A man who says he was on his way home when he was approached by 3 people who intended to rob him. Now, police have been working in this area, just now taking down their their crime scene tape, but they say that the shooting happened outside that building across the parking lot here at the Doral Club Apartments. This was around 3:30 this morning. Again, a young man, according to police, either in his late teens, early 20s, tells him he was on his way home when 3 men got out of a car, came at him all with guns, and tried to rob him. Now, police say the victim happened to have a gun of his own, pulled it out, and shot one of those suspects, hitting him just below his chin in his neck. That victim, or that suspect rather, who was shot, was taken to a hospital, and police just told us a few minutes ago that he did die of his gunshot wounds. The other two suspects got into the car and took off. So police have been here ever since. They had been going door to door a little while ago. They were looking for any surveillance cameras that might have captured some of this, so that they can confirm what that the victim told them in this case about what happened. And right now they're telling us that it does not look like he will face any charges. Now, police say that some of those, there were about 4 to 6 shots that were fired, and at least one of those hit this car that is right here. We can see that the tire is flattened, but no one else hit by the gunfire except for that suspect, who again has died from his wounds. Reporting live on the west side, Katrina Weber, KSAT 12 News.
Thank you, Katrina. Now, Corpus Christi police say a married couple, 44-year-old Juan and 42-year-old Angie Segundo, were victims of a drunk driver who hit them head-on late Saturday night. Now, the Segundo family explains that the couple had planned a quick trip to Port Aransas over the weekend, but never made it back for church on Sunday. Now, according to Corpus Christi authorities, the couple was hit by 24-year-old Dylan Holland, who is now facing 2 charges of intoxication manslaughter.
Still, sometimes I'm just thinking about him. He would come every day for coffee. After church, he would come every single night, and he would sit with my husband by my bed.
Juan and Angie Segundo leave behind 3 sons and 8 grandkids. The family is planning a plate sale on August 27th to raise money for the funeral arrangements. And I'm going to have all of those details on our website at ksat.com.
A New Braunfels parent is taking school safety into his own hands when it comes to Comal County schools. The shooting at Robb Elementary in Uvalde made him get serious about coming up with his own safety plan. Right now, Comal ISD has 15 school resource officers. New Braunfels ISD has 5. Some don't think that's sufficient when it comes to protecting kids from an active shooter, which is why there's a proposal to have an outside trained armed guardian on every Comal and New Braunfels ISD campus.
We won't interfere in policy enforcement, dress code. That's not what we would be doing. Everybody will know that that guardian is there to guard children in the event that the absolute worst happens.
Organizers say at this point, neither district is picking up the Guardian program proposal. Now to the latest in the FBI search of former President Trump's Mar-a-Lago estate.
The judge who authorized the unprecedented search is now hinting at possibly unsealing a redacted version of that affidavit. ABC's Faith Abube is in Washington with the latest.
This morning, the Justice Department, under a court order to quickly propose redactions of the probable cause affidavit used to search former President Donald Trump's Florida estate. The magistrate judge who approved the FBI search warrant saying he's leaning towards the public seeing the DOJ's written justifications for the unprecedented move. Judge Bruce Reinhart adding, quote, "I am not prepared to find that the affidavit should be fully sealed."
He understands that the public is going to likely be entitled to some parts of this warrant application and its affidavit.
The judge's willingness to potentially unseal a redacted version of the search affidavit coming after lawyers for news organizations, including ABC News, argued the sensitive documents should be released because, quote, transparency serves the public interest in understanding and accepting the results. Trump's lawyers also inside the courtroom Thursday, but taking no action to support the release, despite Trump saying on social media he wants the full unredacted version unsealed. The Justice Department, at least for now, wants the affidavit to remain secret, claiming that publicly releasing the sensitive documents at this point could jeopardize its criminal investigation. Since the FBI court-authorized search last week, angry Trump supporters have called for violence against federal investigators. And now DOJ lawyers say they're very concerned about the safety of the witnesses. The lawyers adding that a redacted version of the affidavit would be so heavily blacked out, quote, there would be nothing of substance left.
It is not the government's job to tell the public what is meaningful in terms of the release of its own information.
And the Department of Justice has until next Thursday to file its proposed redactions, and then the judge will decide whether to unseal the affidavit. In Washington, Faith Abube, ABC News.
Friday morning, glad you're with us. 509, 79 degrees.
And still ahead, Apple is warning all of its users about a major security flaw. We're going to tell you what you need to do to fix that.
I'm doing an update right now. Birds typically stay outside. However, health inspectors say they actually found a live bird flying inside a restaurant here in San Antonio. We'll go behind the kitchen door.
Goodness. That's always crazy when I see the birds like at the grocery store. So I'm sure that's a challenge in a smaller space. Looking outside with a live cam, we have showers in some areas, but not in this picture. 79 degrees for now. We'll be right back.
Welcome back. Just about 5:13, a buffet with a smorgasbord of problems, including a live bird flying around inside and roaches. Really? Roaches in a meat grinder.
So early. Oh, plus moldy cheese and dirty soda fountains top the list of violations health inspectors found during recent inspections of San Antonio restaurants. So here's what Tim Gerber found behind the kitchen door.
Grand Buffet, located in the 600 block of Southwest Military Drive, earned a 78 on their recent inspection, and the violations cited by the inspector were almost as numerous as the food options on the menu. When I stopped in this week, I was told there was no one there to answer my questions.
There's no manager here?
The report states kitchen staff began cleaning when the inspector arrived, but the cooks did not wash their hands before returning to handling food. A box of celery and cabbage was wilted and browning with a black residue. It was thrown out. A box of potatoes had a mold-like substance, and the jalapenos had signs of rot. The meat cutter had dead roaches and dust on it. There were live roaches in the kitchen and even more dead roaches throughout the business. There were also flies in the kitchen, and even a live pigeon was flying around inside the restaurant. The ice machine was also soiled with a black residue. Village number 1 in the 1500 block of New Braunfels earned a 79. There was a backup of sewage in the food prep area caused by faulty plumbing. The report states the floor floods when the sinks are turned on. Raw meat was stored above loaves of bread and baked goods, and there was also an unapproved barbecue pit outside. Finally, this Circle K on AT&T Center Parkway earned an 81. They had moldy cheese that was more than a month past the discard date. It was tossed out. There was a mold-like substance on the soda machines, multiple fruit flies in the food prep area, and a multitasking employee was caught eating a sandwich while preparing food for customers.
And that's a look behind the kitchen door with our Tim Gerber. If you want to know who has good scores, check him out on KSAT.com.
Yeah, a lot of information. Time now, 5:15 and 78 degrees for now.
Still ahead, we'll tell you about a service that offers a 10-minute live video call with a famous celebrity.
And when it comes to cable or streaming, something has happened and it's never happened before in TV viewing history. We're going to tell you what it is next.
So we need something super distinct. Dad's work. Meet daughter's playtime.
Wait till you hear this.
Thankfully, MetaPortal helps reduce background noise.
Zero lace model.
Adjusts to low light.
Though it seems far out.
And pans and zooms to keep you in frame.
Take a look at this.
So the whole team stays on track.
Okay, let's get some feedback. Great.
MetaPortal, the smart video calling device that makes work from home work for you.
New Astapro Allergy, now available without a prescription. Astapro is the first and only 24-hour steroid-free spray. While other allergy sprays take hours, Astapro starts working in 30 minutes. So you can Astapro and go.
Think Dad's searching doggy diet plans for Josie? No, he's switching his choice cashback category to home improvement, so he earns more on a new doggy door, extra large.
With the Bank of America customized cash rewards card, you just can't stop getting rewarded.
In today's Tech Bites, a warning for Apple customers. iPhones, iPads, and Mac users are being told to update their devices amid news of a flaw that could allow hackers to take over. The company has not said how many people may have been affected. Cameo Live is a new way for fans to chat with their favorite celebrities. It offers 10-minute video calls, and it allows you to invite up to 9 friends and family members to be involved as well. The cost? Well, it depends on who you're chatting with. And for the first time ever, people streaming their favorite shows outnumbered those who watch broadcast or cable. The most recent figures show streaming services drew nearly 35% of viewers. Cable had just over 34%, and broadcast TV with only about 22% of viewers. Those are your Tech Bites. I'm Rhiannon Alley. Have a great day.
5:19.
Let's go ahead and check with Stephen Cavazos. Things look pretty quiet out there.
They've been pretty good. I think this is a great way to start a Friday for anybody. But as we get a look around town, traffic's picking up there along US 281. 281 at San Pedro, not too bad, but you always have to watch out for that curve there because some people tend to speed a little bit more. But as we get a look around town, it's just been a pretty quiet start. Not really a whole lot to see here and not a lot to talk about. But as I mentioned, we are going to be talking about some road work that's taking place. There on the map, you're not really seeing a whole lot of it, but we have mentioned this up a little bit north of New Braunfels on FM 725 in Comal County. Operational improvements, that's going to continue at least up until Thursday, September 1st, so we still have a few more days to go. 9 in the morning to 5 in the afternoon is when you can expect a full closure of the northbound and southbound turnaround right there along I-35. But that information, of course, along with other construction spots, is on our website. Grab your phones, scan the QR code that is now popping up on your screen, and there it is. If you tap the center of it, it'll take you directly to the KSAT traffic page. And of course, that has a list of all the closures taking place in and around the Alamo City. Really good, especially as we plan any weekend events. And if you have to travel through, it's always good to know what roads to avoid, Justin Horn.
Yes, sir. And the good news here, Stephen, is that I think the roads will stay dry this morning here in San Antonio for the morning commute. We're not expecting any rain, at least in the short term. Now, as you go west, it's a different story. We've had a complex or a cluster of showers and storms. It has not moved much at all, and so this is posing some risk for flooding here. We have a flash flood warning that is in effect for southern parts of Real County and northern parts of Uvalde County. You can see kind of the outline there, and this is where the heaviest of the rain has fallen, and it's still raining pretty heavily there around Lakey. That flash flood warning is going to go until 6:30 this morning. So we'll pause it here and let's take a look at the estimated rainfall totals one more time. And by the way, this is falling right over the Frio River, which is not a bad thing. We just want to make sure that we don't get, a wall of water coming down the river, and we don't want anyone crossing through that because that can be very dangerous, especially when it's still dark out there. So we'll take a look at some of the estimates. And we're talking about probably on the order of 3 to 4 inches, I'd say. In some spots, estimating about 3.6 inches there around Lakey, 2.6. As you get into northern parts of Uvalde County, about 3 to 4 inches. And there's more heavy rain that has fallen north of that as well. As I said, there's not much here around San Antonio. Things are still pretty quiet, and I expect that they'll stay quiet throughout the rest of the morning. Now, as we head to the afternoon, could be a little bit of a different story. We should see some regeneration of showers and storms, and we need it here in town. I know we kind of missed out on the rain yesterday. We got close. We could see the rain. We could see the lightning. This is a great picture looking south out of San Antonio at a thunderstorm there at night. It was a very beautiful sight, but a great shot. Thank you for the KSAT Connect picture. As always, you can send those in through our KSAT weather app. Let's take a look at the time lapse here. We saw those dark clouds come through yesterday evening. They just did not produce any rain. And now we've got mostly cloudy skies this morning. 80 degrees at the airport and pretty warm temperatures for most of us. 77 Pleasant and some rain cooled air there in Rock Springs. 68 degrees there. 77 in Helotes and 75 right now in Bulverde. 95 forecast high today. You'll see some cooler numbers in the hill country, especially if we can get more showers and storms going, and then some warmer readings as you get down towards Pleasanton, still in the upper 90s. Forecast calls for about a 30% chance of rain today. This is around 4 o'clock. That could continue into tonight before everything dies down. Tomorrow, much quieter. I think just a 10% chance of rain, and I think Sunday is probably fairly quiet too. We're going to call for just a 20% chance. Can't rule out a few showers, but the better chance of rain is going to show up next week. We'll have more potential for rainfall. 77 degrees at 8 o'clock. We'll go 85 at 11 o'clock, 88 noontime, and then as we get into the afternoon, about a 30% chance of rain. 95, as I said, the forecast high temperature. And very quickly, we've been talking about the tropics. Still watching the system, although it looks like the bulk of this energy is going to go into Mexico. May give us a little bit of moisture, but we're not expecting this to have direct impacts on Texas. 95 tomorrow, 94 Sunday, 95 Monday. So pretty consistent temperatures there. And then we'll be watching very closely Tuesday and Wednesday. Pattern gets active again. We have good moisture in place. Could see some heavy rain possibly by the middle part of next week. And look at that high temperature on Wednesday, 89. It's been a while. Sounds great.
Yeah, it has. We'll take it.
Another curveball. We're just absolutely stunned.
Yeah.
Thank you, Justin.
Time now, 5:24 and 78 degrees for now.
Up next in your morning spotlight, Graham McTavish talks about his role in the Game of Thrones prequel, House of the Dragon. Seems like we've been talking about this for years, and the Game of Thrones prequel series debuts this weekend.
CNN's David Daniel has that and more in today's Hollywood Minute.
I heard the sound of thundering hooves, splintering shields and ringing swords. And I placed my hand upon the Iron Throne. And all the dragons roared as one.
House of the Dragon takes place 200 years before the events of Game of Thrones. Graham McTavish is in the thick of the action as the Lord Commander of the King's Guard, a departure for the veteran actor.
Unusually for me, actually, as a character, he is a morally centered, decent human being. He's not corrupt. He is a straight arrow. So he's good in a world where that is a rarity.
House of the Dragon premieres Sunday on HBO.
Howdy. You know me?
I don't know. You know me?
Dale Dickey and Wes Studi star in A Love Song about a woman and her childhood friend and crush finally and warily reuniting. The critically acclaimed showcase for the two veteran actors expands from limited to wider theatrical release this weekend. In Hollywood, I'm David Daniel.
528, 78 degrees.
And as the drought continues, parts of the country are actually seeing too much rain. What top meteorologists are saying about this extreme weather.
Plus a warning from health officials about some recent deaths possibly linked to raw oysters. Extreme weather continues across the country as parts experience major drought while other areas deal with record flooding.
And here at home, no rain in this area for right now. We're at 78 degrees, but some parts of San Antonio are getting some rain.
Oh, it's been raining buckets for hours now. We'll tell you where in a moment. Good morning, everybody. It's Friday, August 19th.
Happy Friday. Thanks for joining us. Let's get over to Justin, who will have good news about the rain.
Yeah, there is some pretty heavy rain across the hill country this morning. This is an area we've been watching. There are flash flood warnings in effect until 6:30 this morning for parts of Real and Uvalde counties. You can see the outline there of that flash flood warning, and that's where we've estimated about 3 to 4 inches of rain. So there could be some, especially low-lying spots that you got to watch out for if you're traveling this morning in those areas. And the Frio River likely filling up a little bit with this good rain that continues to fall. It's not moving very much. It's been pretty stationary this morning. We will put it into motion here. You can see, yeah, these aren't moving. This will die down slowly this morning. Not seeing anything here around San Antonio. We don't think that we'll see much this morning. So the weather headlines. Well, we kind of missed out on the rain yesterday. We were hoping for some good showers and storms here in town. It just did not happen. That outflow boundary came through and it sparked up showers and storms all around us. Rainfall added up in spots, but not here in town. There is another chance, though. If you missed out on the rain yesterday, we'll get some isolated showers and storms this afternoon. And then a wet pattern is setting up for next week. It's looking promising for maybe some heavy rain by Tuesday and Wednesday. Right now, 80 degrees. Dew point is at 70, and we've got cloudy skies. KSAT 12-hour forecast. Very small chance of rain this morning. Then we see the rain chances pick up this afternoon. We should top out close to 95 with a 30% chance of rain by 4 and 5 p.m. Stephen, how are things looking on the roadways?
I'm having a pretty easy start to this Friday morning, Justin. As we get a look around town, 281 there's not a lot to show you. It's been pretty much the same thing for the last few days. Just some quiet starts to the early part of the morning. But, on Monday, obviously, very different situation. We had a lot of rainfall, and with it, it's safe to assume that it brought some problems there along the road. But right here at I-10 and Medical, traffic is moving just fine. I-10 at New Braunfels just getting a little bit busier now that we're getting just a tad bit closer to 6 a.m. So just just watch out for any slowdowns that we may experience a little bit later on. But let's just get you to the map, because what we see now is just a lot of green there on the screen. Active construction spots, as we always mentioned, but nothing major that's really going to slow those drivers down. Take your time, though, when you head out the door. Enjoy your drive to wherever your destination may be, especially if it's going to be here to the Alamo City, because no delays here just yet. It's a pleasant drive, actually, coming in from I-37 northbound and Pleasanton with 28 minutes at this hour in the northbound lanes. Usual time, Highway 90, about half an hour, but that area does get busy as the morning does pick up if you're traveling in the eastbound lanes. And 35 is not looking too bad either, 16 minutes. And these are the usual times that we see at this point, but they'll change as more folks get out on the roadways. But for now, looks like you're in the clear. Guys.
Stephen, thank you. Updating late-breaking news here on GMSA. Gunshots that San Antonio police say were fired during a robbery overnight have left a robbery suspect dead. Police say he was shot by the man he had targeted for that crime, the robbery victim.
Katrina Weber is live where it happened at an apartment complex in the 7700 block of Culebra Road. That is near Ingham Road. Now, Katrina, you mentioned earlier there were others involved in that robbery. Have police found them yet?
Well, police tell us there were 2 other people involved in the robbery, 2 other suspects. As far as we know, no arrest yet. Now, they say one of those men left his shoes behind here in the parking lot, and they did find a barefoot man walking down the street in this area, but they say he did not match the description, so no arrest yet. Now, this robbery and shooting happened right near this building here, and up until about 5 minutes ago, police were all over this area. We have some video to show you, though, from earlier this morning. This robbery happened about 3:30 this morning. Police say that a man, possibly in his late teens or early 20s, told them he was on his way to his apartment coming home when someone in a car approached him. 3 men with guns. They got out, they demanded his property, and that victim told them that is not going to happen, according to police. He then, they say, pulled out his own gun, fired it at the suspects, hitting one of them just below his chin in his neck. Now, we were told that that suspect who went to the hospital with the gunshot wounds has died from his wounds. The other 2 got into the car and took off. And again, police have not tracked them down just yet. They do tell us, though, that the man who did the shooting, the would-be victim of the robbery, does not appear to be facing any charges at this point. But again, this whole thing's still under investigation. Police did go around looking for surveillance video to support his story. And again, they tell us it doesn't look like he is going to face any charges. Reporting live on the west side, Katrina Weber, KSAT 12 News.
Katrina, thank you. The West is dealing with another day of rising temperatures as severe drought is drying up lawns and has farmers begging for rain.
At the same time, a new report shows an alarming growth of extreme drought conditions is extending to the northeast. CNN's Reed Binion has the latest.
The Northeast experiencing extreme drought conditions. The Southwest bracing for flooding as the West Coast bakes under sizzling hot conditions.
We're going for periods of a long time without rainfall, and then bang, we'll get periods of very intense rainfall and flooding.
On Thursday, the U.S. Drought Monitor issued a new map showing areas of eastern Massachusetts outside Cape Cod and all of Rhode Island now in extreme instead of severe drought. Meanwhile, the desert Southwest is bracing for massive rainfall, which could lead to flash flooding over the coming days. Nearly 10 million people are under flood watches as up to 4 inches of rain are expected across Arizona, New Mexico, and southern Utah.
The monsoon rains are important and a very important part of the ecosystem for the American Southwest. They tend not to greatly boost soil moisture or reservoir storage.
By the end of the weekend, that rain is likely to spread east into drought-stricken Texas, where up to 5 inches could fall by early next week, raising the risk of potential flash floods.
This will be the first time that it's ever been this bad.
It comes as extreme weather is already impacting agriculture and cattle ranching, with some farmers being forced to sell off their cattle herds earlier than normal due to this extreme drought.
It's hard. Our fields are barren.
So you're trying to save the rest of the herd?
Yes.
I'm Reed Binion reporting.
In other news, the FDA says children will soon have access to new COVID boosters coming this fall. The agency says the updated boosters are to protect from the BA4 and BA5 strains of the virus and will be available early to mid-September. There will be doses for adults and children. The FDA has not said what ages would be eligible for the boosters or how long the kids would need to wait since their last booster to get the new shots. Meanwhile, health officials say there is a decline in the new number of COVID-19 cases and deaths reported around the world. The World Health Organization has reported COVID cases dropped 24% between last week and the week before.
And cancer is the second leading cause of death worldwide, and now a new study suggests that almost half of those deaths are due to cancer can be preventable factors. Now, those factors include things like smoking, high body mass index, or drinking too much alcohol. Researchers zeroed in on cancer deaths and disability from 2010 to 2019 across more than 200 countries. They examined 23 cancer types and 34 risk factors. They found that 44% of global cancer deaths were attributable to preventable risk factors. The data also showed that risk attributable cancer deaths are on the rise.
Lowe's is helping its employees handle the high inflation with $55 million in bonuses. The home improvement retailer plans to offer the bonuses to hourly frontline associates. No word on exactly how much they'll get, but the extra cash is set to go out early next month. Lowe's is one of a number of companies offering inflation-related paycheck bumps.
Time now, 5:39 and 78 degrees for now.
Still ahead, Dodge says this new electric versions of muscle cars will be very loud, even though they'll be electric. We'll tell you how that works.
And next, if you're a fan of eating oysters, what you need to know about some Louisiana-based oysters that have been linked to a death investigation.
Right now outside with live cam. Calm here in town, way to our west, out in places like Lakey and Concan and even near Rock Springs. It has been raining a lot in the overnight hours. We are watching that for you folks. We'll keep tabs on that. Justin has more on updated weekend rain chances. 5:43, welcome back. Oysters are normally considered a delicacy.
But now some shellfish from Louisiana are considered a danger after at least 2 deaths. ABC's Christine Sloan has the story.
Oysters, considered a delicacy with their briny flavor and chewy texture. But an alert this morning after 2 people in Florida recently died of a rare bacterial infection linked to eating raw oysters. One of the victims, 55-year-old Rodney Jackson of Pensacola, an Air Force veteran, father, and former banker who helped minority businesses.
We don't know how we're going to do it without Rodney. It's going to be very hard.
Jackson, who got his oysters from a seafood market, reportedly first had mild symptoms, but then had trouble breathing. And in South Florida, another man got sick and died after eating raw oysters in July at the Rustic Inn Crab House in Fort Lauderdale. The manager saying on that day, as many as 100 dozen oysters were served. Health officials say raw oysters can contain Vibrio bacteria found in warm seawater, especially during the summer months, which causes fibrosis. The CDC says each year, 80,000 people get fibrosis and about 100 die from the infection. Symptoms include diarrhea and vomiting, but it can cause more severe problems. This year in Florida alone, 26 people have become infected. 6 people have died.
Vibrio can be fatal, and people die from Vibrio in the U.S. both from eating raw oysters if their immune system is compromised, or even from getting cuts being in water that has Vibrio in it.
The CDC points out that an oyster that contains this dangerous bacteria doesn't look, smell, or even taste any different from any other oyster. The only way to kill possible bacteria is to fully cook oysters. Christine Sloan, ABC News, New York.
5:45, 78 degrees.
Coming up next, Taco Bell is adding some new vegan options to its menu. We're going to tell you when they'll be available.
5:47, the classic muscle car has always been known for having loud, growling engines and exhaust systems. And Dodge says its future electric muscle car will mimic some of the same sounds and sensations of old gas-powered classics. The Fiat Chrysler brand, famous for cars with powerful V8 engines, has unveiled a concept muscle car. It's called the Dodge Charger Daytona SRT. Oh, looks good. Has loud exhaust pipes and a transmission that shifts gears. The sounds are not produced by speakers, but rather by air pulses that vary in speed and force depending on the car's speed and rate of acceleration. Dodge's current gas-powered muscle cars, the Charger and Challenger, will end production next year.
And Taco Bell is testing a new plant-based meat alternative at some of its locations. The fast food chain announced it has debuted a new crispy melt taco at some restaurants in Alabama. Now, according to the company, the product is a soy and pea protein blend inspired by classic Taco Bell flavors. It says the American Vegetarian Association has certified the protein vegan, and it can be added to other menu options. Now, testing of the new product comes as Taco Bell partners with Beyond Meat for more vegetarian options. It says those products will be available before the end of the year.
5:49, and I do see flashing lights on TransGuide.
That's right, I-10 and Loop 1604. Let's go ahead and check in with Stephen Cavazos.
Well, it was smooth sailings for a little bit until this issue popped up. This is along I-10 West, right there, Loop 1604. In fact, it's in the westbound lanes that we know of 1604, and we are seeing what looks like a KSAT Hero truck out there. But right now, nothing's been reported as far as stalls or crashes, but an area you have to watch out there for, because we are seeing traffic starting to pick up now that we're getting close to 6 a.m. So again, 1604 in the westbound lanes, not far from I-10. We'll watch it closely, but taking you to the map, and there it is. It's popping up right there, but everywhere else looks pretty fine and quiet so far from what we're seeing. But we're going to watch things closely, and as always, if you have any big road trips planned, it's good to know what you can expect before you head to the gas station. So here are today's gas prices according to AAA, and we always like to look at our surrounding areas. So here in Bexar County, the average gas price $3.33, and in Wilson County $3.48, and out of Scotia County we're looking at $3.41. Now, back on August 15th, AAA also reported that the national average was $3.95, which is 62 cents less than a month ago, but still 77 cents more than a year ago. Gas prices, of course, we're seeing some, they've been in the headlines lately, but we just want you to know what you can expect here in our area if you have any major road trips planned. But if you have any trips planned that will take you along here at I-10 West and Loop 1604, watch out for those crews out there. We'll work to bring you more information, Justin.
Thanks, sir. As we look at the radar this morning, we've been tracking that area of heavy rain across the hill country, starting to shrink just a little bit. We're seeing this trying to fade some, lighter rain, but this is still going to pose a threat for flooding. We still do have that flash flood warning that's going to go until 6:30 this morning. Includes Real County in northern parts of Uvalde County, not necessarily the city of Uvalde, but north of there. That's where the rain has been pretty heavy. We're also watching the Frio River as all of this water feeds into the Frio River, which has been very dry. It's a good thing. We just don't want too much of it. So far, we haven't heard of any huge issues out here, but folks around Lakey, Concan, and Garner State Park, be careful, because this rain is coming down in buckets, or at least it was. Highway 83 there is probably a problem spot this morning. We've estimated about 3 to 4 inches of rain with the radar. Meantime, here in San Antonio, there is not a whole lot going on. Things are really pretty quiet. We're not detecting a whole lot on the radar. There's some activity off to the north, a few light showers around Kerrville. And this afternoon, I think, with this boundary still around, we could see some more isolated showers and storms. So if you missed out yesterday, there's another chance, and we were surrounded yesterday. San Antonio had the outflow boundary come through and did not generate any rain. I think part of our problem yesterday is that we had the storms develop off to the north, and we had a cirrus shield kind of move over top of us, and a lot of times that'll keep showers and storms from developing. But places like Kerrville and Lakey, obviously Lakey probably higher totals than that now. Kerrville picked up some rain. Blanco, San Marcos, Gonzales, Cuero, even down to our south, there were some showers and storms. We were just kind of in the hole here where we didn't get any rain. The opportunity, as I said, is there again this afternoon with that weak frontal boundary still sitting around the area. Right now, we're at 79 degrees at the airport, 79 Kelly and Stinson too, 77 at Randolph, and very light winds. 76 Gonzales, still in the 80s in Cotulla, and 81 right now in Castroville with cloudy skies there. Temperatures today should make it up to about 95 here in town. We'll see mid-90s for a lot of spots, hotter temperatures to the south, cooler numbers to the north, where we'll see likely some more cloud cover and a little better shot at some rain. But a 30% chance as it stands for San Antonio around, say, 3, 4 o'clock. We'll watch how these showers and storms kind of move around. You can't pay too close attention to where these models are actually putting the rain, because it is going to be a hit or miss type situation. Outflow boundaries is kind of messy, but the chance is there nonetheless. 7 a.m. tomorrow morning, just some clouds. I think Saturday really is a pretty quiet day. You can't rule out some isolated showers, but most of us will be dry, and that'll be the case on Sunday too, just a 20% chance. But after that, rain chances pick up again. We have some more promising weather pattern setting up next week. Your KSAT 12-hour forecast, we'll see temperatures in the 70s this morning, 88 degrees by noontime. just a small chance of rain, and we'll bring that up a little bit to 30% by 3, 4, 5 o'clock. Temperatures around 95. It's still going to be very humid too. 95 Saturday, 94 Sunday. There are those smaller rain chances, and then 30% chance Monday as some pretty deep moisture moves in here. And I think by Tuesday and Wednesday, we'll have a good shot at rain. The question is going to be exact timing and kind of where the heaviest rain sets up. So stay tuned, but just know that Tuesday and Wednesday next week, possibility of some heavy rain around the area, guys.
All right, we'll be on alert. Thank you, Justin. 5:54, about 78 degrees.
Let's look at your winning lotto numbers. We have pick 3, 863, Fireball 7, Daily 4, 4860, Fireball 8.
Cash 5 numbers 2, 23, 30, 33, 34. Texas 2-step numbers 12, 20, 26, 35 with a bonus ball of 27.
Good morning. Coming up here on GMA, we are tracking the latest on the dangerous turn in the war in Ukraine. President Zelensky issuing a stark new warning that the world is on the verge of nuclear disaster. Also, the urgent investigation into the deadly mid-air collision, how 2 planes crashed into one another, and what the new housing market report reveals. Also, we are excited. It's a Friday party in Central Park. Demi Lovato this time joining us live right here on a Friday edition of GMA.
Ahead in the next hour, GMSA, a man is dead this morning after he was hit by a train on our city's south side. We'll tell you more about that. And an attempted robbery on the city's west side ends with the intended victim killing one of the suspects. We'll tell you how it went down. TransGuide right now, one of our problems has been out at 1604 and I-10. We'll get an update from Steven. And we're waiting on some potential rain around here as we head into the next week or so. Justin said some of it could wind up being torrential. Plus an update on storms way to our west. We'll be back.
San Antonio police are investigating a deadly shooting here on the west side, but they say the shooter was actually the victim in this case. I'm Katrina Weber. I'll tell you more about it.
A man is dead after he was hit by a train on the city's south side. Details just ahead.
And taking a look outside with live cam, we have some heavy showers out to the west, but here right now it's pretty calm.
Live from KSAT 12. Good morning, San Antonio starts right now.
Good morning, everybody. It is Friday, August 19th.
Happy Friday. Thanks for joining us. We have good news as far as the rain. We are going to get some, and probably even next week as well.
That's right. The extended forecast looking pretty promising for a lot of folks. But this morning, the main focus is well to our west, and it's been raining for hours, Justin Horn.
Yeah, this rain started overnight, and it's continued right into this morning. And we've seen some flash flood warnings continuing for parts of Real and parts of Uvalde County. This is going to go until 6:30 this morning. It's this area of rain right here. It's starting to shrink and kind of weaken a little bit, but not before dropping some very, very heavy rain. And those flash flood warnings include areas along the Frio River, which could fill up pretty quickly. So we got to be careful this morning with it still being dark out there. Starting to see a little bit of new development too in parts of Medina County. Some showers up around Austin, and I do think there is potential to see some isolated showers and storms here around San Antonio today. I know we didn't see much yesterday. There's potential to see more today if you didn't get any rain yesterday. Pollen count, molds are high, 2,340. Fall elm is low. That's yesterday's count. And looking at the forecast for today, 30% chance of rain as we get into the 3, 5, 8 o'clock hours. So basically afternoon into this evening, there's potential for some of those pop-up storms. Temperatures will make their way up to 95. And as Steph and Mark pointed out, there are more rain chances on the way, especially as we get into next week. Opportunity for some areas of heavy rain too. We'll talk more about that forecast in just a bit. Stephen, though, with more on what's going on with that commute. Any more issues?
Well, we did have that issue off of I-10 here at Loop 1604. Let's just get a closer look at TransGuide, because what we're seeing now is traffic. It's a different shot, and although it's still being reported by TxDOT, we're not really seeing any delays in that direction. So this isn't actually the westbound lanes, pardon me, of Loop 1604, not far from I-10. And earlier we showed you where it was pinpointed on our map, not too far from Six Flags. So let's go ahead and just take you in, because where we're seeing it is just right at that interchange there, but no delays in that direction. Thankfully, it's just been pretty quiet, but it could be clearing up pretty soon. So that's the good news, and hopefully everybody's okay. But right now, traffic looks like it's moving just fine. If you are going to be traveling though along I-10, let's check out those travel times, because coming in from Bernie, it's still a 24-minute drive time at this point. 24 minutes there, and 26 on 281 southbound if you're heading in from Bulverde, and it's a 25-minute drive time on I-35 I-35 traveling in from New Braunfels. Let's take one last look around town at I-10 at New Braunfels. Traffic is moving there pretty steadily, and I-35 at Alamo. The morning's off to a decent start, but hopefully it will last into the weekend. Guys.
Stephen, thank you. San Antonio police say a West Side man most likely will not face charges after a deadly shooting. They believe he was defending himself during a crime.
It happened this morning at an apartment complex in the 7700 block of Culebra Road near Ingram. Katrina Weber is there with a live report. And Katrina, you mentioned earlier that this all happened during a robbery.
That's right. The man who police say did the shooting told officers he was headed home right to this apartment building here at the Doral Club Apartments when 3 men got out of a car, all with guns, and tried to rob him. Now, this happened about 3:30 this morning, and police swarmed this area right after that crime. We have video to show you as they began investigating this case. Now, they say that that would-be robbery victim says that he was defending himself. He told those robbers that this was not going to happen. And then, according to police, he pulled out his own gun and fired 4 to 6 shots, they believe, at those robbery suspects, hitting one of them just below his chin in his neck. Now, that man who was shot was taken to a hospital, and police later told us that he did die from his gunshot wounds. They spent quite a bit of time here going door to door looking for any surveillance video of this crime in action, and they told me just before they left that it looks like the man who did the shooting is not going to face any charges. They believe that he was the victim of a robbery, but they did caution that they are still continuing to investigate. Now, the other 2 people involved in the robbery, those other 2 suspects, did get into their car and take off. Police say one of them left his shoes behind, and although they did find a barefoot man just down the street from here, they say that he did not match the description of those robbery suspects. So they're still looking for those 2 men. Reporting live on the West Side, Katrina Weber, KSAT 12 News.
Katrina, thank you very much. A man is dead this morning after he was hit by a train on the city's south side. Happened around 2:30 this morning in West Hutchins, not far from South Zarzamora. Police say the man in his 20s was standing on the train tracks and the engineer could not stop in time. The man died at the scene.
And she was already undergoing hospice care, and now a 57-year-old mother is on a ventilator. Investigators say her own children neglected to care for her in her time of need. 37-year-old Oscar Dominguez, 24-year-old Roxana Carrero, and 18-year-old Pedro Carrero are all facing charges in that case. The Bexar County Sheriff's Office says they lived in the home with their mother and left her in her own filth. A medical provider alerted officials that the woman developed infections, sores, and mold after a diaper went unchanged. Now, as the suspects walked in front of our cameras, they were asked about that case. One person remained quiet while the other 2 maintained they were innocent.
What do you have to say? What happened?
I'm innocent.
Do you have anything to say? About what? About what happened?
Every last one of them has an equal hand in what ultimately happens to their mom, and in my personal opinion, God have mercy on their souls.
Sheriff Javier Salazar says they learned about the case 2 days ago. He says a suspect told investigators they were trained to help in their mother's care. Investigators say their mother is not expected to survive, and charges could be upgraded in this case.
A draft plan of the Bandera Road corridor is stressing out homeowners who live in the area, worried it could change their neighborhood's dynamic. Part of the plan might include changes to streets that feed into Bandera Road. Homeowners worry it could mean the demolition of homes, or it could do away with park greenways. City of San Antonio is hosting a public hearing and input meeting on the Bandera corridor next Wednesday, the 24th. Last night, homeowners held their own meeting trying to rally against part of the project.
People are going to be affected by this. Lives are going to be impacted. And yes, it may help some with the congestion on the Bandera Road, but people will be hurt, and some people who live in this area who lose their home will not be able to buy another home.
Details about concepts that are in the plan will ultimately be removed, because if there isn't support within the community for a particular element of a plan, then we don't want to move forward with that.
The meeting is next Wednesday, 5 to 8 p.m. at City Church on Bandera Road.
In your consumer headlines, home sales are dropping again. Higher mortgage rates are near record prices and are helping push home sales down nearly 6% in July. The National Association of Realtors say sales are down more than 20% compared to this time last year. And first-time unemployment claims are also falling. The Labor Department says 250,000 people filed for benefits last week. That is down 2,000 from the week before. However, the number of Americans collecting unemployment ticked up a bit by 7,000. Kohl's says its earnings dropped 63% in the last 3 months compared to a year ago. That announcement comes as Kohl's deals with the same problem as other stores. Shifting buying patterns are leaving stores with extra inventory, so shoppers can expect sales soon so the company can get rid of current inventory.
If you use an Apple device, you're being urged to update your software as soon as possible. Officials with the company say there's an existing flaw making iPhones, iPads, and Macs vulnerable to hackers who could take over the devices. The company has not said how many people may have been affected. Talk about making your video calls next level by having your favorite celebrities make a cameo during your call. Cameo Live, a new app, a new way to talk to a celebrity for 10 minutes via video call. You can have up to 9 friends and family members on the same call. You can choose to talk to celebrities from a list of movie, TV, music, and sports stars, all for the right price. Cost depends on which celebrity you're chatting with. And for the first time ever, more people watch their favorite shows via streaming instead of cable and broadcast TV. According to the most recent figures, 35% of viewers use streaming services, while just over 34% watch cable. Broadcast was only about 22% of total viewership.
And time now is 6:09 and 78 degrees for now.
A scary scene on the city's north side after a man is hit by a vehicle. We'll have the latest on his condition.
And at least 2 people are dead this morning after 2 airplanes collide in California. We're going to bring you the latest on that investigation.
A magistrate judge considers whether to unseal the affidavit that led to the FBI search at former President Donald Trump's Florida estate. I'm ABC's Faith Abube in Washington. What the judge has ordered the DOJ to do, coming up.
Outside with live cam. All right, big storms to our west. We missed some storms last night, but wait till you see the extended forecast. There is potentially a lot of rain coming up in the next week or so. Justin will tell you when. .13, we turn now to the latest in the FBI search of former President Donald Trump's Mar-a-Lago, Florida estate.
Now, the judge who authorized the unprecedented search is now hinting at possibly unsealing a redacted version of that affidavit.
That document could shed some light on the criminal investigation that led agents to the former president's home. ABC's Faith Abube reports.
Good morning. Former President Donald Trump has called for the full document, unredacted, to be released. But in court yesterday, his attorneys made no moves to call for the judge to do just that.
This morning, the Justice Department, under a court order to quickly propose redactions of the probable cause affidavit used to search former President Donald Trump's Florida estate. The magistrate judge who approved the FBI search warrant saying he's leaning towards the public seeing the DOJ's written justifications for the unprecedented move. Judge Bruce Reinhart adding, quote, "I am not prepared to find that the affidavit should be fully sealed." The judge's willingness to potentially unseal a redacted version of the search affidavit coming after lawyers for news organizations, including ABC News, argued the sensitive documents should be released because, quote, transparency serves the public interest in understanding and accepting the results. Trump's lawyers also inside the courtroom Thursday, but taking no action to support the release, despite Trump saying on social media he wants the full unredacted version unsealed. The Justice Department, at least for now, wants the affidavit to remain secret, claiming that publicly releasing the sensitive documents at this point could jeopardize its criminal investigation. Since the FBI court-authorized search last week, angry Trump supporters have called for violence against federal investigators. And now DOJ lawyers say they're very concerned about the safety of the witnesses. The lawyers adding that a redacted version of the affidavit would be so heavily blacked out, quote, there would be nothing of substance left.
And the Department of Justice has until next Thursday to file its proposed redactions, and then the judge would decide whether to unseal the affidavit. In Washington, Faith Abube, ABC News.
Hey, if you have your phones and you're still at home, grab them. You're going to need them in just a moment. But if you're getting out on the roads, keep those phones away. All right, let's get a quick look, because right now as we get that drive around town I-10 at Callahan, that's actually a commute I take every morning. Looks pretty busy, but 281 there at 410, a little bit different shot that we're getting. Pretty quiet there, but 281 at Hildebrand, watch for that curve as always, but things look fine from what we're seeing on TransGuide. We take you right to the map because we did have an incident there off of I-10 near 1604. You see that yellow icon not far from Helotes. That's actually near Six Flags. There was an incident, a crash, I should say, that was reported there, but that has cleared out and we're not seeing any issues at this point. But be on the lookout for I-10 in Kendall County. Work will continue today for that has been taking place actually since August 15th. This should be wrapping today, according to TxDOT. Work has been there along the corridor for quite some time now, but we're going to see this work take place from 9 in the morning to 4 in the afternoon. It's a single lane closure on the westbound frontage road there from Scenic Loop Road to US 87. But as I mentioned, you can grab those phones now and open your camera app. Scan that QR code. It's going to take you directly to the KSAT traffic page. Has a list of all the closures that are taking place, not just along I-10, but other parts of our area. So very helpful when you're planning your commute. And Justin, what can we expect as far as the forecast?
Well, it's going to be a dry start here in San Antonio. Not the case as you go out west into the hill country, where we've had some pretty heavy rain this morning. Flash flood warnings continue for parts of Real and Uvalde counties. We'll put the warnings on here, and you can see where that flash flood warning is right there. That's going to go until 6:30 this morning. And it does look like this area of rain is finally kind of calming down. We're starting to see it shrink a little bit, and it should diminish here over the next couple of hours, but not before. There could be some high water in spots, especially right along the Frio River where the heaviest of the rain has fallen. We've estimated about 3 to 4 inches of rain with the radar in that area with these heavy showers and thunderstorms this morning. Still a few lightning strikes out there, but mostly just light to moderate rain. As we zoom in a little bit closer, we are starting to see some showers develop north of Sabinal. Don't expect these to last all that long. And nothing here around San Antonio. Things are quiet, although we are seeing a few showers developing to the north of the area. We'll watch some of this activity up there around Fredericksburg in Austin. Bottom line, we do have a chance for some more rain today. If you missed out yesterday, 20% chance as we head into the afternoon with that weak frontal boundary still around. And yesterday here in San Antonio, we could see it, just didn't fall here in town. This was a shot of a thunderstorm just south of town with some lightning. Beautiful shot there on our KSAT Connect. And yes, it was all around us. Time lapse shows we had that outflow boundary come through, just didn't kick up the showers and storms. And this morning, we're left with cloudy skies. 79 degrees at the airport, calm winds. Temperatures generally in the 70s and 80s out there. 72 Kerrville, 78 New Braunfels. Rain cooled air in Rock Springs, 68 there. And you've got upper 70s for most of Bexar County. Forecast high today, 95. It'll be warmer as you go south to San Antonio, a little cooler as you work north. Temperatures potentially in the upper 80s. And places like Bernie and Kerrville, where there is going to be a little bit more cloud cover. And as we look at the forecast, 30% chance of rain. This is kind of favoring the hill country once again today, but certainly a chance for some isolated stuff even into tonight here around San Antonio. It's going to be the hit or miss stuff, though. Again, not everyone will get rainfall out of this. By tomorrow morning, cloudy skies, and then I think most of Saturday is going to be pretty quiet. Partly cloudy to mostly sunny, just a 10% chance of rain. And on Saturday, as some deeper moisture works in, we'll bring the rain chances up to 20%. But most of the weekend, as I said, will be fairly quiet. 79, 9 o'clock as we get to noontime, 88 degrees, and we'll start to bring rain chances up a little bit this afternoon. 30% chance by 4 or 5 o'clock, temperatures in the mid 90s. Meantime, out in the tropics, that system we've been tracking the last few days, now starting to reemerge into the Gulf of Mexico. Hurricane Center does think this has a little higher chance of developing, 40%. But the computer models, most of them, take this into Mexico, throws a little moisture in our direction, but leaves the bulk of the energy south of us. So at this point, I don't think it has a direct impact on our forecast. 95 Saturday, 94 Sunday, 95 Monday with a 30% chance of rain. And then next week is where things get a little more active. We've got some deep moisture, more active pattern, and that should lead to some pockets of heavy rain. Hard to say when and where just yet, but we think in the time frame Tuesday, Wednesday is a time frame we do need to watch, guys.
I was feeling this whole forecast vibe this morning. Before I left, I threw a rain jacket in both vehicles.
Nice.
Just to have handy in the coming week or so.
Smart.
Yeah,
thanks.
You'll need them.
6:20 right now, 78 degrees.
And we have made it to week 2 of the NFL preseason. The Cowboys and Texans games coming up, but you're going to need to stay up late if you want to watch them. We're going to have a preview after the break.
There's a different way to treat HIV. It's every other month injectable Cabenuva. For adults who are undetectable, Cabenuva is the only complete HIV treatment you can get every other month.
Cabenuva helps keep me undetectable. It's 2 injections given by my healthcare provider every other month.
It's one less thing to think about while traveling.
HIV pills aren't on my mind. A quick change in my plans is no big deal.
Don't receive Cabenuva if you're allergic to its ingredients or taking certain medicines which may interact with Cabenuva. Serious side effects include allergic reactions, post-injection reactions, liver problems, and depression. If you have a rash and other allergic reaction symptoms, stop Cabenuva and get medical help right away. Tell your doctor if you have liver problems or mental health concerns, and if you are pregnant, breastfeeding, or considering pregnancy. Some of the most common side effects include injection site reactions, fever, and tiredness. If you switch to Cabenuva, attend all treatment appointments.
Every other month, and I'm good to go.
Ask your doctor about every other month Cabenuva.
In this morning's GMA First Look, attorneys for Caitlin Armstrong, the yoga teacher accused of killing pro cyclist Mariah Wilson, say these newly released images from her interrogation were part of an illegal arrest.
Caitlin Armstrong's lawyers are essentially saying that everything generated from this in-cell interview, including video of her being handcuffed, should be thrown out of court, and are essentially arguing that she was set up for this interview to look bad, to look like somebody who might have been a killer. If that gets in front of a jury, it will potentially contaminate the jury.
Armstrong now charged with the first-degree murder of Wilson, who police believe Armstrong considered a love rival and thought was involved with her boyfriend. And we'll have much more on what this could mean for the case coming up at 7 a.m. with your GMA First Look. I'm Matt Gutman, ABC News, Los Angeles.
Quick look at morning sports. Week 2 of the NFL preseason already underway. The games ultimately don't count, but they give rookies the chance to see some time on the field. Dallas Cowboys and the Houston Texans both have late night matchups in Los Angeles. Starting with the Texans, they're set to take on the defending world champion LA Rams at SoFi Stadium. Kickoff tonight, 9 o'clock San Antonio time. And then the Cowboys will take on the LA Chargers. Their kickoff set for that game set for tomorrow night, 9 o'clock, also at SoFi. So you have to stay up late if you want to catch either one of those Texas teams in action.
And time now, 6:25 and 78 degrees for now. Still ahead at 6:30, health officials are looking into what killed 2 people after they ate raw oysters. We're going to take a look where they came from and how it could affect you.
And after the break, the latest on a deadly shooting here in San Antonio overnight. Katrina Weber live at the scene with details in just moments.
A West Side man told police he had no choice but to fire his gun, killing another man. Good morning, I'm Katrina Weber. I'll tell you why he is not facing any charges coming up.
And should you be worried about how much time your kiddos are spending on social media? Well, we're going to tell you what the experts are saying.
Outside with live cam as the sun is just beginning to start to come up over the eastern horizon. We were hoping for some storms in the area yesterday. We've had some overnight well to our west. And wait till you see this extended forecast. There is a lot of potential activity coming up. Good morning, everybody. It's Friday, the 19th.
Happy Friday. Thanks for joining us. And maybe, we didn't get those storms last night, but we're going to get our fair share pretty soon.
Yeah, we could catch up on a lot of rain in the next week or so, Justin.
Well, I think we could at least put a dent in the drought, and that's about all we can ask for at this point. There has been some drought denting rain this morning across parts of the hill country, not here in San Antonio, but we've been tracking some flash flood warnings across parts of Real and Uvalde County, and it's in this area here. Now, this rain is beginning to shrink and kind of fall apart a little bit, but still some light rain stretching from Lakey down to Concan, right along the Frio River. So the Frio River is going to benefit from this, and there is a flash flood warning for those counties. That goes until 6:30 this morning. So looks like it may expire as we speak here, but we'll keep an eye on that. Again, still some rain there. Starting to see some new development. Just north of Highway 90 near Sabinal and Hondo as well. We're noticing some rain up around the Austin area, and there is potential for some more showers and storms today. So if you missed out yesterday, there's still a chance today. It's going to be hit or miss stuff, but we do have it in the forecast. So weather headlines. The rain yesterday was sort of all around us. We're going to check in on some of those rainfall totals coming up. And then some more chances, as I said, isolated showers and storms today. And then as we get into next week, some good tropical moisture moves in here, and we'll have the potential for some more downpours, and we'll try to continue to chip away at this drought. 79 degrees right now. Dew point is at 70. Feels like 82 out there. The air is pretty thick. KSAT 12-hour forecast, 79 by 9 a.m. We'll call for partly cloudy skies this afternoon, 20% chance of rain at 1 o'clock, and mostly cloudy with partly cloudy with a 30% chance of rain by 5 p.m. We top out at 95 degrees today. The roads are not wet, so the question is, are we having any issues for the morning commute? Let's check in with Steven now. How are things looking?
Well, it's a good day, Justin, and not just because it's Friday, but because the roads actually have been pretty quiet and calm throughout the morning. As we get a look around town, there's 410 West at Cherry Ridge. It's just getting a little bit busier as we're getting closer to morning rush, but now would be a perfect time to head out and get the day started early if you can. But if not, just be on the lookout. Of course, we've been talking about several active construction spots that tends to really slow drivers down. But at this point, things don't look like they're moving pretty slowly at any of these TransGuide cameras. There's 281 at Breadland, but just always be on the lookout. Crews are going to be out there working along the roadways to improve them, so give them a break, move over or slow down, especially if you see a stalled vehicle out there as well. But again, take you to the map, and really not a lot to show you. Just a lot of that green, active construction, and some smooth sailing traffic there along I-10 at Frio. We're going to watch these roads closely, but you know the saying, make sure you do the same. Guys.
Thank you, Stephen. San Antonio police say it appears a West Side man turned the tables on some robbery suspects. They say he pulled out his own gun and shot one of the 3 armed men trying to kill him.
Katrina Weber's live where it happened in the 7700 block of Culebra near Ingram Road, and we understand police are still looking for those other suspects. Katrina.
Well, that's right. We know that one of those suspects left his shoes behind here in the parking lot. Beyond that, though, police have not shared much of a description about them. Now, they did tell us that everyone involved in this situation was young, either between the late teens or early 20s. And police say that they all met up outside an apartment building around 3:30 this morning. Now, the man who did the shooting told police he was headed to his home here at the Drought Club Apartments when 3 men with guns got out of a car and demanded his property. He says he told them that's not going to happen. Then he pulled out his own gun and shot one of the robbery suspects in his neck just below his chin. That man died later at a hospital. The other 2 took off in their car, which police say was a Toyota Prius. Now, they spent some time searching of this area for surveillance video, going around and talking to neighbors. And police say from what they found out so far, it looks like the man who did the shooting, that robbery victim, will not be facing any charges. But again, this is still under investigation. Reporting live on the West Side, Katrina Weber, KSAT 12 News.
Katrina, thank you. New this morning, San Antonio police responding to a neighborhood on the city's south side.
We are learning a man was hit by a train. Our Jonathan Cotto joins us live right now. And Jonathan, what have you learned?
Stephanie, right now information is limited, but we do know San Antonio police spent several hours at the scene. We can take a look at those video images from earlier this morning. We know San Antonio police responded to the 1500 block of West Hutchins. This is a neighborhood on the city's south side. Now, they spent several hours out there canvassing the area, trying to figure out why this happened. They're telling us a man believed to be in his 20s was out on the tracks as the train was approaching. They say he was waving his arms right before the moment of impact. But of course, Mark, Stephanie, this is a situation that is under investigation. We'll have more information for you as it's made available. Reporting live, Jonathan Cotto, KSAT 12 News.
Thank you, Jonathan. Bond has been set for a woman charged with aggravated robbery and aggravated kidnapping after an incident earlier this month. Now, police say the woman you see here, Luis Hernandez, beat a 19-year-old man with a gun, breaking his nose. Hernandez and another person stole the man's car, according to the affidavit, phone, shoes, and over $600 in cash before stripping him naked and dumping him at a picnic corner store on the west side close to downtown. Police later recovered that stolen car.
Also new this morning, San Antonio police say a man who was hit by someone driving a vehicle happened just before 10 last night at the intersection of Blanco and West Avenue. SAPD says the man was taken to a hospital with minor injuries. Police say the driver that did hit him did not stop to help. So far, no arrests or charges have been filed.
And it's the pain no mother wants to face, life without her child. And for a San Antonio mother, that is now a reality. Corpus Christi police say a married couple, 44-year-old Juan Segundo and 42-year-old Angie Segundo, were victims of a drunk driver who hit them head-on late Saturday night. The Segundo family explains that the couple had planned a quick trip to Port Aransas over the weekend, but never made it back for church on Sunday. According to Corpus Christi authorities, the couple was hit by 24-year-old Dylan Holland, who is now facing 2 charges of intoxication manslaughter. Juan and Angie Segundo leave behind 3 sons and 8 grandkids.
To some of our top stories, at least 2 people were killed after 2 small planes crashed into each other in midair in California. It happened yesterday in the town of Watsonville, just south of San Jose. There were 2 people aboard a twin-engine Cessna 340 and only the pilot aboard a single-engine Cessna 152 during the crash. They hit each other on final approach to an airport. After the midair collision, 1 plane crashed into a nearby airport hangar. The other crashed into a field. There are no reports of injuries on the ground and no word on what caused the midair collision.
And oysters are usually considered a delicacy.
But now some shellfish from Louisiana are considered a danger after at least 2 deaths.
ABC's Christine Sloan has the story.
Oysters, considered a delicacy with their briny flavor and chewy texture. But an alert this morning after 2 people in Florida recently died of a rare bacterial infection linked to eating raw oysters. One of the victims, 55-year-old Rodney Jackson of Pensacola, an Air Force veteran, father, and former banker who helped minority businesses.
We don't know how we're going to do it without Rodney. It's going to be very hard.
Jackson, who got his oysters from a seafood market, reportedly first had mild symptoms, but then had trouble breathing. And in South Florida, another man got sick and died after eating raw oysters in July at the Rustic Inn Crab House in Fort Lauderdale. The manager saying on that day, as many as 100 dozen oysters were served. Health officials say raw oysters can contain Vibrio bacteria found in warm seawater, especially during the summer months, which causes fibrosis. The CDC says each year, 80,000 people get fibrosis and about 100 die from the infection. Symptoms include diarrhea and vomiting, but it can cause more severe problems. This year in Florida alone, 26 people have become infected. 6 people have died.
Vibrio can be fatal, and people die from Vibrio in the U.S. both from eating raw oysters if their immune system is compromised, or even from getting cuts being in water that has Vibrio in it.
The CDC points out that an oyster that contains this dangerous bacteria doesn't look, smell, or even taste any different from any other oyster. The only way to kill possible bacteria is to fully cook oysters. Christine Sloan, ABC News, New York.
Another 18-wheeler found with hundreds of migrants inside. Just take a look at these images. They're pictures from the Del Rio sector, where Border Patrol agents found 150 people in this trailer. Investigators say they were found as they were set to cross the border. In the meantime, buses of asylum seekers continue to be sent out of Texas. Governor Greg Abbott says he's sending migrants to the self-declared sanctuary city of New York. More than 2,800 undocumented migrants arrived from New York, from Texas, and Arizona. For now, nonprofits, churches, and other agencies are doing what they can. The mayor of Washington, D.C. has also received buses of migrants and asked the federal government for assistance.
And as students are making their way back into the classroom, a new Braunfels parent is taking school safety into his own hands when it comes to Comal County schools. Now, the shooting at Robb Elementary made him get serious about coming up with his own safety plan. Right now, Comal ISD has 15 school resource officers and New Braunfels ISD has 5. Alex Signier doesn't think this is sufficient when it comes to protecting kids from an active shooter, which is why he's proposing an outside trained armed guardian on every Comal and New Braunfels ISD campus. Signier says at this point, neither district is picking up his guardian program proposal. However, he is not going to stop pushing the school boards to do more to keep kids safe.
Happening today, BCSO's substation at University Oak on the city's north side will be officially given its new name as the Bexar County Sheriff's Office Floyd M. Cardenas Law Enforcement Annex. The renaming comes 1 year after the death of Deputy Cardenas. He was an 18-year veteran with BCSO and a highly respected senior member of the SWAT and K-9 teams. His family will be there for the unveiling at 10 o'clock this morning.
And time now 6:40 and 78 degrees for now.
Still ahead on GMSA, how much time does your teen spend on social media? And how is all that screen time impacting their mental well-being? We'll tell you what experts are saying right after the break. 6:44. For many years now, we've heard the debates about social media and our teens, from photo sharing sites that help kids feel connected during the pandemic to posts that made kids feel bullied or body shamed.
Now, experts say the impact of social media may change throughout adolescence. Now, according to a survey from Common Sense Media, kids spend between 5 to 7 hours a day swiping right and posting, with many becoming addicted to it. In fact, scientists have studied the brains of teenagers on social media and noted that the reward center of the brain lights up.
That brain region became more active when teens saw that other kids' photos had a lot of likes, and particularly when they saw that they got a lot of likes on their own photos.
Now, researchers in the UK say a teen's age and gender may play a part. In their study, girls were negatively influenced starting at age 11.
And for boys, the drawbacks began around age 14. The study showed social media negatively affected both boys and girls by around age 19.
Developmental changes during puberty could influence how social media makes younger teens feel, while older teens could be more affected by seeing their peers go through life changes online, like moving out of the house or starting new jobs.
And while most experts say there's more work to be done in understanding how the brain, biology, and hormones affect the way teens interact online with peers, they say it's important to understand which teens have the highest risk of struggling mentally.
6:45.
Go ahead and check with Stephen Cavazos.
Well, it is that busy time, 6:45. We are seeing a little bit more traffic picking up there at 35 at Alamo. But as we give you a wider look at TransGuide, you can see, thankfully, nothing major is slowing anybody down, but it is getting a little busy. So just as always, make sure you give yourself that time before you get out there, because we will see those slowdowns that will pick up in those usual trouble spots. And we're already seeing it there along US 90. You can see it on the map, not far from 1604. And then we're also seeing it on the northwest side. Again, these are usual spots where we do see that buildup, and that's also due to some construction or just the usual traffic that travels through that direction. But nothing major, again, that is going to be causing any impacts on the roadways just yet. We're going to watch things closely, but back here on TransGuide, thankfully, Justin, things have been moving okay.
Yeah, it's pretty quiet weather-wise. Still cloudy here in San Antonio, and we're still watching that area of rain off to our west, although I'll tell you this is starting to shrink, starting to weaken just a little bit. We no longer have the flash flood warning that we had earlier with some of these showers and storms, where it was pretty heavy. We were estimating about 3 to 4 inches of rain in some cases, but again, not seeing that anymore. Just some light rain from Lakey down to Concan. There still could be a few low water spots where you may want to avoid this morning. Otherwise, as we look at the city of San Antonio, things are quiet here, not noticing much in the way of rain, but we are watching some showers and storms off to the north, and we'll keep an eye on that. There is the possibility for some isolated showers and storms to redevelop this afternoon. We didn't get a lot yesterday. We saw the outflow boundary get close to San Antonio. It just didn't generate any rain for us, but around us, numbers weren't bad. Lakey, as of this morning, that's just newly updated, 2.21 inches there. Uvalde picked up a little. Rock Springs has seen some decent rain. Kerrville, some rain overnight. Blanco, to San Marcos, Gonzales, Cuero, even south of San Antonio, there was some rain. We were just kind of in the hole here, but there is a chance that we could, again, get some more a little bit later today. There's the scene outside. We've got cloudy skies, 79 at the airport, 79 Stinson, 77 Kelly and Randolph, and not much wind. Temperatures fairly warm for most of us now, where we have some rain-cooled air. The numbers have fallen off a little bit, 68 in Rock Springs, 72 in Kerrville. It is already, or is sitting at least 81 in Castroville. So a warm start, and the humidity is obviously very thick out there. High temperatures today up around 95. We'll see some higher numbers down south, a little bit lower as you go north, because I do think we see more clouds and the potential for rain, especially across the hill country. Computer models are showing about a 30% chance San Antonio and points north. And then some of those showers could stick around even into tonight before falling apart. As we get into tomorrow, less activity. Temperatures probably are still going to be warm, and we're only going to see a shower or two, just a 10% chance. Sunday, same story, just a 20% chance of rain. But next week, the pattern gets more active again as we get some tropical moisture in here, and we see some disturbances rolling through. Next week's looking promising. 82 degrees by 10 a.m. noontime, 88, 90 by 1 p.m., 92 by 2 p.m. There's that 30% chance of rain and a high temperature right around 95 as we head into the afternoon and evening hours. Meantime, in the tropics, there is still that system we've been watching the last couple of days. Looks a little better. It's starting to move out into the open waters now, so there could be some development here. Hurricane Center is now giving us a 40% chance of development. But the main takeaway, this is likely going to move over into Mexico before it can develop and just throw a little bit of tropical moisture in our direction. Does not have any direct impacts for us. So 95 tomorrow, 94 Sunday. We'll add in some clouds on Sunday, and then next week is a week to watch, because I think as we get, again, some disturbances, some good moisture in here, if those things can come together and time out well, Tuesday and Wednesday are a couple days we're watching for some heavy rain, at least in spots, guys.
Justin, thank you very much. Our producers want us to make a correction on a story we told you about earlier in this newscast. We told you about a driver who hit a man with a vehicle near Blanco and West Avenue late last night, did not stop to help. That was incorrect. The driver did stop to help and is not facing charges.
And time now, 6:49 and 78 degrees for now.
Tomorrow, GMSA, a pair of twin brothers are literally going the extra mile to raise money and awareness for kids in foster care. Why their plan involves all 50 states.
Taking a look outside with live cam, we have rain in the forecast again. Very, very nice, but heavy rain right now to the west of us. We'll be right back.
The Northeast experiencing extreme drought conditions. The Southwest bracing for flooding as the West Coast bakes under sizzling hot conditions.
We're going for periods of a long time without rainfall, and then bang, we'll get periods of very intense rainfall and flooding.
On Thursday, the U.S. Drought Monitor issued a new map showing areas of eastern Massachusetts outside Cape Cod and all of Rhode Island now in extreme instead of severe drought. Meanwhile, the desert Southwest is bracing for massive rainfall, which could lead to flash flooding over the coming days. Nearly 10 million people are under flood watches as up to 4 inches of rain are expected across Arizona, New Mexico, and southern Utah.
The monsoon rains are important and a very important part of the ecosystem for the American Southwest. They tend not to greatly boost soil moisture or reservoir storage.
By the end of the weekend, that rain is likely to spread east into drought-stricken Texas, where up to 5 inches could fall by early next week, raising the risk of potential flash floods.
This will be the first time that it's ever been this bad.
It comes as extreme weather is already impacting agriculture and cattle ranching, with some farmers being forced to sell off their cattle herds earlier than normal due to this extreme drought.
It's hard. Our fields are barren.
So you're trying to save the rest of the herd?
Yes.
I'm Reed Binion reporting.
Coming up today on GMSA at 9, we're getting into the holiday spirit already.
Tiffany Huertas is going to tell us about auditions for the children's ballet performance of The Nutcracker. Plus, how one local school district is hoping to keep students safe with a new app that allows parents to track their child's bus.
We'll explain how the program works today on GMSA at 9. By the way, I saw Halloween greeting cards at HEB last night.
Oh, yeah.
Mm-hmm.
I mean, we're at least closer to that than Christmas.
Straight to Stephen in traffic.
Well, we're talking about pumpkin spice earlier as well. Gosh, I can't believe we're already there. And hey, we're already here at Morning Rush, but thankfully no need to rush if you are going to be heading out in the next few minutes. 281 there at 410. There is really not a lot to show you, but what we have been seeing are some of those slowdowns. And I think I just jinxed myself. Unfortunately, it looks like a crash may have popped up there near 410. So we'll find out exactly how that will be impacting the drive time at this point. But everything looks pretty normal. So just remember to be careful out there, Justin.
That heavy rain we saw across the hill country earlier this morning that prompted the flash flood warning starting to decrease. We're seeing things quiet down for now, but there are more chances for showers and storms today. If you missed out yesterday, about a 30% chance. Temperatures make their way up to 95. The weekend, fairly quiet, but we'll see more rain chances next week.
Grab those umbrellas, keep them handy.
Yeah, good news there. Happy Friday, and we'll see you back here at 9.